me. It's Queen Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Now, a young lady said to me that as an Aquarius, she is often accused of flirting when she's not flirting. And she asked me, what can she do about this? Now, I'm going to tell you, sweetie, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about that. If you're truly, Aquarius are big flirts, but we're not always flirting. So if you truly are getting accused of flirting with people that you're not flirting with, there's nothing you can do about that except for be careful about who you talk to and what you say to them. One thing I do is I'm very careful about telling people how they look or saying anything about them being attractive. I stay away from that altogether. Let me tell you about two situations I had as a young girl. The first situation, I was like in my late 20s. I used to work at this job that I didn't particularly care for, but I needed the money, so I had to do what I had to do. And I worked at this job, and there was a woman at the front desk. Now, I had a lot of problems at this job, so oftentimes shit would pop off, and me and her would talk, because she would have problems at the job too. So we would often talk about the problems that we had and what went on. So we would talk a lot, and she always looked nice. She didn't have a pretty face, and she was kind of tacky. You know, her behavior was kind of tacky. But she was, her clothes were great. She had a great fashion sense. It's the way she matched things together, the pocketbooks, the haircuts. She was sharp. And I would always tell her as we were talking, like, you look really nice. I love your shoes. I love your bags. And I would tell her how nice she looked. But I never came on to her because simply she wasn't my type. Everybody knows me. I've always had the same type. Ever since I started liking women or acknowledging that I liked women, the women that I've liked have always looked like me. They've always been big gals. Love me a big gal. Love me a big gal. Everybody knows that. And this girl was like a size 8 or 9. She wasn't juicy at all. So it wasn't my thing, you know? So she started telling people that I was coming on to her. And my friends came back to me and it was like, for some reason, she think you like her. Now, everybody that know me knows my type. So my friends knew that was bullshit. So they came back to me like, dog, you better stop talking to her because she think you like her. So I went to her woman to woman. And I was like, look, I'm not sure what gave you that impression, but that is not the case. And me and her cleaned it up. You know, it was fine. She said that she misunderstood. I said, my bad. I'm sorry that you took it that way. And we was fine after that. We moved on. Anyway, so that lesson taught me not to talk about people's appearance. Because if you're noticing their appearance, they assume that you're noticing them in a sexual, romantic kind of way. So that was my first lesson. Don't go there. Now, before that happened, when I was like 19 years old, I used to work at a pizza shop. I used to answer the phones. So, of course, when you work at a pizza shop, any of you that's ever worked at that kind of an establishment will know there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of time when there's no orders coming in, quite frankly, and you have to wait for the orders. So the delivery guy and me would sit there and talk. I was answering the phones. He was sitting there waiting. So a lot of times he and I would sit there and talk. Well, some kind of way, his girlfriend, who had just given birth, started to think that I was flirting with him. We never had a sexual conversation. I never said anything to him. He was a cute guy. I never said anything to him sexual or told him he was attractive or nothing like that. All we talked about was the Eagles, pizza, who we knew, dumb stuff. We were teenagers. We talked about dumb shit. So for some reason, this girl thought I was trying to fuck her dude. So one day she saw me walking up the street and she decides she's going to fight. She's going to fight for her dude, right? So I'm like 3 sizes bigger than her, and from the hood, the real hood, and I'm looking at her like, what? So when she said whatever she said something to the effect of, oh, you fucking with my man, I'm gonna fuck you up, something like that. And I was like, huh? Like, it was weird to me because, number one, she was pushing her baby in a carriage. and you trying to call a woman out to fight that you're definitely going to lose the fight to, and you got your baby. So I said, you know, I'm Aquarius. That's the first thing that came in my mind. I looked at her and I said, so you want to fight me in the street with your baby in a stroller? Yeah, you really a good mom. And she looked at me like she hadn't even thought of that. Like that thought hadn't even crossed her mind. She didn't even realize. It might have been her first kid. I don't know. But she didn't realize that she had her baby with her. So she looked at the baby. She looked at me, rolled her eyes, and walked away. So that situation taught me. So then when I went to work and I told him about it, he thought the shit was cute. Like it was cute that his woman was trying to fight for him. I never spoke to him again. I would come in and be like, and go sit far over there. And he was like, oh, you not going to talk to me no more? And I was like, nah, you got too much mess, dude. I'm good. And after that, I just never spoke to him again. I just said hello, and I kept it pushing. But it was funny to me how he thought the shit was funny. Your woman almost got beat the fuck up, and you thought that shit was funny. So after that situation happened, that taught me also about talking to people. You know, Aquarius, we have a tendency to be very friendly. We talk to people, we compliment them, and we don't always mean something by it. Most of the time, we don't mean nothing by it. Like in this case, I wasn't talking to him because I found him to be interesting. I was talking to him because he was the only person there. You know, my boss would be in the back doing God knows what. The other guy would be over in the corner making pizzas, you know, and the three of us, for the most part, were the ones standing there talking. But because I was a female, she assumed that maybe something more was going on. Now, I don't know what was happening in their relationship. Maybe he was seeing somebody, but it damn sure wasn't me. So, and in the other situation with the female at my job, I realized from that situation that whenever you notice somebody's looks, their appearance, what they have on, their shoes, things like that, it starts to go to their head and they start to think that you peeping for a reason, you checking them for a reason. So the only thing I could say to you is that, and this is very unfair because it's not like you did anything wrong, but the only thing I can say is be very careful and selective about who you talk to and what you say to them. When I talk to people now, especially when it's in a job situation or, you know, like, you know, when it's a job or school or a formal situation, I'm real careful not to get too comfortable, not to get too close, you know. I keep them at an arm's distance and keep everybody is in that, you know, work box. My work box is different from all the other boxes. And if you're in the work box, you get high and by. You get, oh, how's the weather? You know, you get real quick little things. And I stay away from appearance. I stay away from how they look. I don't even look at them most of the time. You know what I mean? As far as like looking them, like really looking at them. I'm right here with it, right in their eyes with it. So they can't be like, oh, she was looking down my shirt or, I'm right here with it. How are you? How have you been? Good to see you. Take care. And I keep it moving, you know? So the only thing I could tell you is when you're in these kind of official work job kind of settings, keep it pushing. Just keep it pushing and don't have any conversations with people unless it's your real friend, you know? And both of those situations, I was talking to somebody who wasn't really my friend. He wasn't my friend. He was just there, you know? But the other guy was my friend. I just should have just kept talking to the other guy, you know? We were cool. He knew my husband. They were friends. So I just should have just kept talking to him because that was safe, you know? But this other Yahoo, you know, comes forward with all this mess and all this drama. And with the female, I was just talking to her because she was at the front desk. It was just convenient, and I was going through stuff and just so happened to start talking. What I should have did was kept that shit to myself, you know, and went and talked to one of my real friends in the other room or on the third floor or something like that. Or waited till I got home and called a real friend and talked to them then. So just be careful. When you're at school and when you're at work, don't talk to a lot of people. There was a time when you could talk to everybody. Now, if you're friendly, people assume that you want the yams or that you're trying to get them the draws. I'm trying to tell you, that's how it is. I'm here, even here in Costa Rica, I was saying to a friend, we were talking about something very serious, something very similar. And he said to me, if you're friendly with a guy, he assumes you want to have sex with him. And I was like, Same shit. Same shit. If you're friendly with somebody, they assume that you're flirting. If you're friendly with them, they assume that's an invitation to the booty, and it is not. It is not. Just because somebody is nice to you is not an invitation to the booty. It means that they're talking to you, and it could be at some point in time an invitation, but at that moment, that's not what it's saying. That's not what it's saying at all. You got to go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole to see what they're really offering. Because that person could be just like me, not really offering anything but conversation because they're bored at an 8-hour job with nothing to do. That's it. And if you're that person and you're not certain if somebody's flirting with you, why don't you ask before you start running your mouth? Okay? So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have had this situation or you know somebody in this situation, please give us some ideas in the comment section about how you dealt with it. Okay? And likewise, if you would like to send me a love donation, I will leave my PayPal. If you would like to get a tarot or oracle card reading, I will leave my email. Please email me for an appointment. If you would like to talk to me on Facebook, I'll leave my Facebook and my Instagram. And I think that's it. If you know somebody else that has gone through this or is going through this, please pass this video on to them and tell them I said, just keep it pushing. When you're at school and you're at work, just keep it pushing. We're not in the 1950s and 60s and 70s and 80s no more where you could speak to people and it's normal. Now, everybody got an angle or they think you have an angle. Okay? See you later.